The technology that it offers is a very specific, empathetic, non-biased AI. We're working on that, and that's why it's very expensive. We're putting systems in place to ensure what we're calling algorithm justice. And I'm like, holy crap, what's going on? And so when I thought about that, I was like, wait, you're turning me over to a team. I didn't choose that team. I want to choose my own team. I mean, I'm the one going through this. You're partnering with me. Hi, I'm Miri Rodriguez. I am an author. I'm a senior storyteller at Microsoft, been there for 12 and a half years. I can't believe that. And I am also the CEO of Empressa, which is a Microsoft partner. So I'm an employee and I'm a partner, which I don't even know how that works out, but it does. And I'm currently building an AI for women, by women for women. So here I am in tech, a woman in tech, been in the industry for 20 years. And I'm loving life. I'm originally from Venezuela, born and raised, and I reside in Miami. So yeah.
Diversified Game. Learn how to start, run, and sustain your business.
It's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, you guys are in for a treat because we're going to be talking tech. We're going to talk the AI side of it because my guest here, she's really doing something. I think that everybody will have their own AI that has something to say. It's going to be like books. So, Myra, welcome to Diversified Game. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. Let's get right into it because I could go Joe Rogan style on this alone, but we're going to go, here, there, and everywhere. But can you tell us about Empressa and tell us how others can join you on this movement? Because, this is a community that you're building.
Yeah, absolutely. Empressa actually came out of 5 surgeries that I had in the last 2.5 years. And this was because I had breast cancer and I had to go through, and I have the BRCA gene mutation, which exposed me to other cancers. And I swear every time I came out of one surgery, I had a download. I call it a download. And I was like, is this the drugs? I don't know what it is. I'm in the hospital and I'm just writing notes on my phone. And each of these notes that I was writing actually it was like a puzzle piece. At the end of it, my last surgery was in 24, sorry, we're already in 2025. No, sorry, 2023. I can't even tell. And I just put it together and I was like, wow, this is a culmination of all the things that I have been through in my life, in tech, as a woman, as an immigrant. And so it just was a compilation of what I believe is my legacy. And what it is an AI-powered platform and a biz chat. So it has a GPT component for users, but it serves 2 audiences. So worldwide, what we want to do is we want to enable women to reach gender parity. We know very well that that is still a thing. The recent studies still show that women are still earning 83 cents per dollar. And the World Economic Forum actually said last year that it's going to take 134 years to reach gender parity worldwide. So we want to enable that. We want to actually become the platform that is AI powered to enable women to empower themselves and build their empires. And what that means is for women experts, we are enabling them to build their digital legacy, have discoverability, and share their insights that are very nuanced to women. So it's not just, hey, help me with my career. It's like, hey, I'm a Latina woman in the US. I just arrived. How do I start my career? So it's a very nuanced and very, it has a lot of layers and intersectionality. And then on the user side, women get to connect 24/7 with women experts. So I'm a writer, I'm a storyteller, so I can't be everywhere all at once, but now with AI, I can. Women can reach me and connect to my brain and talk to me as if I was there through the AI. So we are reaching 2 separate women layers, one that is a user, women in early career who are just getting started, who want to build their business, and women experts who we're going to leverage their brain, their insights to enable the other women.
Hello, everyone. Come along with London and Sydney as they show you around the vibrant country of Cameroon. Explore the heart of Africa through the eyes of London and Sydney. 2 explorers who journey across the great city of Yaoundé, exploring its rich culture, vibrant market squares, cultural heritage, and wildlife. With giggles and excitement, London and Sydney Explore Cameroon takes you on a fun-filled adventure, providing insight into the country's culture and traditions through the pages of this book. It's packed with exciting stories and super cool facts about Cameroon that will make you go, wow. Get your copy now, available on Amazon and in libraries near you. There's only one easy way to experience the exploration of Cameroon, and it's through London and Sydney. Don't wait, get yours.
And you say, new in their career, but the more you get in your career, especially for us entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
when you make your first $1,000, then you make your first 10, and then it just goes up. You
Yes.
still need to learn and talk
You
to people.
do. Yes. Yeah, there's a layer. You're right. I thank you for sharing that. I know it's true. It's when every time you hit a milestone, it's a great thing, but it's also a nuanced thing. And a lot of women don't have the resources. In fact, the statistics show that it's not that women are not wanting to or have not started their business. They just can't hit, for example, the $1 million mark because of lack of resources. They're not available. And so women that have been through that can enable these and say, hey, I've been through it. I know exactly what you can do. Here's my expertise in how to offer that.
And, somebody's listening out there and saying, well, I'm already making money and I'm also saving and investing because I watch things like Diversified Game. I subscribe and I share. But, there's layers in that. People say, well, my mutual funds or I'm fully funded in my solo 401k. And then you'll say, but do you know about a defined benefit plan and how much? And people say, ¿qué? And so, you show. Now, you had mentioned being an immigrant. Now, you got to represent the country that you came from, too. I know you're here in Florida, but where are you from? ¿Dónde eres?
Yes, soy de Venezuela. I'm from Venezuela. My parents were missionaries. And so when I was 13, we moved to the States, actually to Miami, through the missions. So I've been here a while. I'm not going to date myself, but I've been here a while. And so I consider myself both American and Venezuelan. The country, as you may have heard, has been going through a lot of political unrest. I still have family there. And this is actually why it's also important for the legacy that we're talking about for Empressa. And I say that because when you think about, portfolios and money making, for me and for a lot of women, we are communal. We leave legacy. And so we think about ancestry. We think about what we call generational, generational wealth. And so for me, as we think about what is your legacy, it's not just, okay, I accumulated so many assets and I'm good. It's how is my family going to be good? How do I change the status quo for my kids and their kids and their kids? And because we're in the land of opportunity. So it's really beyond myself and what I can acquire, coming from a very humble, home in Venezuela, actually in the slums of Venezuela. So I've seen and I'm living the American dream, and I love that, and I love this country for it. But I also believe that we got to give back as much as we can to the place and honor where we've been.
Yeah, and folks saying things, I only see countries. You see the flags behind me because we're
Yes,
sitting
I do. I love it.
With multiple citizenships and residencies. And I tell people, you might see Venezuela now in a negative light. Wait for 5-10 years and also read books like Confessions of the Economic Hitman and see why these countries and things happen. America has something to do with it. The whole G7 does. So
a little something.
yeah. And so, with that, the immigrant hustle that's why places like New York are so just on fire when you get there. Talk about that.
Yeah. It's interesting because being here, when I got here, really in the 90s, early 90s, Venezuela was in a great place. We were actually the most developed country in Latin America. We have petroleum, we have oil, and we're a very rich country. And so we were actually in a great position. It wasn't, my family didn't come here because we were fleeing any type of situation, political or anything like that. It was just through the missions. For me, it's very interesting to see this new wave of immigrants coming from Venezuela out of sheer need, just because of the last 15 years of just the government unrest. And for me, it's not only sad, but I also watch the news and I'm thinking about people, how you said it. It's we're coming up and it's a different light that we're coming under because it's masses of immigrants and illegal immigrants coming into the country, and places like New York and places like Chicago, which are havens. And with that comes all kinds of sort of immigrants, right? And it's not just the ones. And so for me, I really, as an immigrant, one of the things that is important to me is when you come to a country, any country, to establish yourself, to flee from a situation, it is important to think about why you're doing it and how you're going to enable yourself in that country. So it's not just, hey, I'm going to come and take, is the country's giving you an opportunity. How do you give back? What you do with that? And so it is important for me, it has always been, to deliver something back that enables community. And this is why part of that is Empressa. Empressa is something that is born in the US and that I'm going to give from the US to the world. And it's something that America enabled me to do. I would have never been able to do this, or it would have been a very limited, platform in Venezuela. So I think it's mindset. It's not just I'm fleeing a situation or I want to have coverage. Is I'm coming somewhere and I am also enabling myself in the best way so that I can establish myself and deliver a better future beyond myself.
Are you a successful entrepreneur or one in training? You've got the vision, but do you have the right partner to build your brand, your team, and your future online and off? At CPRfirm.com, we offer expert consulting, financial guidance, and life coaching because we believe in doing life with our clients. After all, what is it for a man to gain the world and lose his soul? Founded by Callan Cash Coleman, we help our clients not only succeed, but plan to retire rich. Your business deserves the best. Start building your legacy today at CPRfirm.com.
I don't expect my guests to go political, but I tell you guys all because I'm just kind of interesting in how I feel about immigration. There were some illegal immigrants in 1620 that came on the Mayflower, and we got to remember that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of. Let's go beyond that. Let's go let's go before that. Unless you're native, you're probably an immigrant. So
Yeah, but with Empresa, tell the people. Are they, they can contribute to the community. And what I'm thinking is, and I signed up to learn more, just so you know, because I want to know how I can bring it to the different communities I feel a part of, whether that is the African or the African American or the travelers, the nomads. Like, I want to know how can we, white label this and make it for everyone. So we'll talk about that off air. But if you can give people just a snippet so they can also hit you on the email, because she has it all set up, you guys. If you want more information, boom, 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 click. Let us know something. Is that even possible? And what range do people need to start? Because I don't want people calling you with $50 in their hand saying, give me my own version of Empresa. This was expensive to do, I know.
Oh yeah. Very, very expensive. And the reason it is because my vision of Empresa is beyond an AI platform. There's a lot of AI platforms being born today in the era of AI. There's a lot of things. I want to call out, number one, we are not a third-party platform. We are building on the stack technology of Microsoft, but we have our own technology. What is this technology that is differentiated? When you think about what I would say our competitors today, it would be a three-point competitor platform. It would be a skill building platform for women. It would be a mentorship platform for women. It would be a networking platform. So you're thinking Outlier.ai, you're thinking LinkedIn, you're thinking Chief, you're thinking even ChatGPT. These platforms come and they're all segregated, they're all acting on their own, and none of them provide something very specific for women, which we have studied and researched, and we actually, took from the 20 years of research from Claudia Goldin, which she won the Nobel Prize in 2023 for. What she was thinking about the gender parity in the labor force for women. Time, flexibility are very important, and visibility for women. We don't get those things. We bid for these things. We don't get them. We add layers of how many things we have going on at the same time. And so women, unfortunately, we don't have that. We haven't built it enough. And so this platform, which is not a third party, the technology that it offers is a very specific, empathetic, non-biased AI. We're working on that, and that's why it's very expensive. We're putting systems in place to ensure what we're calling algorithm justice. And you may have heard that. It's not I haven't coined that term, but it's algorithm justice. It's inclusion about the nuances that women specifically have to go through in order to get a job, in order to build their business, in order to manage their mom life, or whatever the case may be. We go through menopause, we go through pregnancies, we go through abortions. Just so many different things that we have to act like it's normal, that we're okay. And it's not okay. And we have to show up to work and we have to act like it's okay. And so those nuances are built in. And so when you have a conversation with me on Empressa, you're connecting with me, it's going to show up as a council. You have a women, five or four women that are coming together to enable you and tell you their story and their experience. So you're not talking to a robot, you're talking to an actual woman. The database is built not on the internet. It's not hallucinating because it's actually built on, if you want to talk about storytelling, Miri shows up. Hey, it's me. Hi. Let me tell you my experience. So the women experts can upload their content from different channels, from even social media. We know we are seeing as well a proliferation of social media content that, where is it going? It's third-party platforms. My video lives on YouTube. It's not really mine. And so it basically brings it all together in once for women. So to your question, I know it was long-winded, but I wanted to share that because when you think about how to get started here, there's two ways. You can become a user, but right now we're making a call for women experts, Black women, Hispanic women, all of the I'm a woman, I'm an immigrant woman. This is my jam. This is where this is why I'm doing this, right? And so if you as a woman, which I know because it's happened to me, have had, you have so many insights, you have so many stories to share, don't have the time to, have not gotten, the resources, don't have the sponsorship. Empressa is for you. You can actually, even if you don't have a full written book or you haven't had the chance to put it all on paper, our AI helps you actually put that together and builds your library of insights. So the call is for women experts. The first wave of women experts, we're actually building the proof of concept. We are seeking 1,000 women. We have 100 right now as founding members. And for the next stage, which is actually opening up soon in the next few weeks, we want women experts to come. And if you are an expert, if you consider yourself an expert, if you know you have something to share with the community, come in. We have monthly calls. Our community is a very, our mission is to empower women to build their empires. And an empire is different kingdoms, right? A queen has one kingdom. An empress has many kingdoms and territories. So all of these pieces come together and we enable you in different ways. So women experts, if you want to join, we're actually, go to the website, empressa.ai. Learn there, apply to become part of Imperial Council, and we will welcome you. For users and for what we call Empresalites, people like you who want to white label this, and thank you for that. Men and women who have resources, have platforms like the one I'm sharing on, thank you for this. It's how do you come in and enable our community, because we need that. We need people like you. And so you're already doing it, and anybody else who's listening who has the capacity to say, hey, Miri, I'm an ally. I want to learn more. You're welcome to join. Again, Empressa.ai. There's different ways that you can tackle in and say, I want to learn more. I want to be part of the users, or I want to be part of the experts.
Okay, she didn't give us the price, but you guys, if you come through, if you come through.
Okay, let's do it. So we have two prices because you're funny. For the experts, I forgot. I was just so excited about what we do. So no, I'm not trying to hide the price. So for women experts, we have a one-time fee, which basically covers the vetted expert process. It's a $500, and that is it. It's a lifetime benefits you get forever. You are become part of the expert council. You have access to the platform. You meet with other women experts in a specific place where we have like a Slack channel, so you can trade what we call trade secrets with them. There's so many benefits. We have a gala at the end of the year, so there's so many things that you can connect with as a very vetted community. It's a one-time $500 fee for lifetime benefits, and you will have access to the chat forever, and you can actually build your legacy and you have your insights hosted in our platform forever as long as you want. We are actually, for the proof of concept, we're inviting 1,000 women, so we're actually slashing the price for $250 if you want to be part of the proof of concept. And so at $250 you get all the benefits to build your empire in Empressa. On the user side, we're going to have three prices for. It's going to be a subscription model, so it's just like GPT. If you were to sign up for Gemini or ChatGPT, the paid version. So we have $59.99 per month. Then we have the next is $79.99 with more benefits, and then there's an enterprise version as well. So it's a subscription model, and you can obviously cancel anytime.
And the enterprise is like $199, you guys, and you get like 5 seats. So let me ask you, two-part question.
Yeah.
if someone wanted to white label it, maybe you do it in reverse. I'm dyslexic, so forgive me.
Let's go. Let's go.
If someone did, and you can give a roundabout, we won't hold you to it, just to put stuff in my brain and people who think like me. And also, if people do come in and they build on the community, will it eventually, and when, like a YouTube, would they be able to monetize being part of that community? Because I could see it like you come in, you pay your fee, and then, there may be tokens to go into somebody else's portal. And that could be also a white labeling thing.
You're already what do you okay, I gotta bring you to my advisory council. You're already thinking the way that we are. Yes to all. So the monetization piece for women, which I can't believe I failed to mention this, for experts. So whenever the woman expert uploads her insights, she gets to choose how much she wants to upload. She may upload a book, she may upload all of her content from social media, LinkedIn, whatever. Every time the AI uses her content, it's a Spotify type model for royalties. She gets royalties on the back end every time the AI. So example, if somebody comes in and starts chatting, I use her on the side, I want to learn how to scale my business with storytelling. I show up and I'm like, hey, I got you, girl. And then every time that happens, I'm making money on the back end. So I can monetize that way. The second way I can monetize is every woman expert has an opportunity to actually have a place called My Shop. In the shop, she's able to actually upload her content that she wants exclusive access to. She can have one-on-one mentoring sessions at whatever rate she decides. So there's an opportunity to connect. Let's say this person says, Miri showed up for storytelling, Stacy showed up for storytelling, 5 women showed up as my counsel. I really love what Miri said. I really connect with what Miri's telling me right now. I want to talk to Miri one-on-one. So of course, I'm 24/7. It's my brain. It's not me. But they want to connect one-on-one. So they can actually, if I allow it, if I want to monetize my time with them, then I set my rate and they can come in and ask for a mentoring session. So there's many ways that you can have your content monetized, your access, one-on-one. And of course, on the back end, it continues to use as a, you're earning royalties on the back end.
Okay. And I want to go deeper on that, because you said the Spotify model. We know recently Spotify has been, in the news for not paying the low earners, which are like, you guys could pay them, especially them. But even if it's 2 pennies, maybe not the payout, but you could at least put it in their wallet. But also, what would you think on the white labeling side if someone says, I love this? Because I want to make it clear, because people think, oh, well, I'll put 5,000. No, this is not a $5,000 white label project. You heard Microsoft in this. This is a big project. So I want to make it clear to people.
Yeah, I love that. So here's where we're going with this. And Microsoft, when we pitched to Microsoft for a startup, and they came in as a partner to give us the technology. One of the things that they talked about was how they envisioned Empressa coming in, the Empressa technology itself being integrated into things like Teams, or a community-based platform. And when you think, and I've already heard from different organizations saying, hey, Miri, I would love to think about education. How, for example, we can democratize having professors join Empressa and then being able to tutor students that come in and they just have access. I mean, imagine the possibilities. Imagine, having Einstein's brain in Empressa and you're able to just chat with Einstein. So there is an opportunity that we are exploring there. I want to be frank. We want to penetrate the market first with women, because for so long, as long as I know, and I don't fact check me because I don't actually have data, but I know that as far as I know, every technology in our history of humanity has been with men, for men, by men, and women have had to catch up. Even in the health industry, in every industry, we just have to catch up. I mean, we're thinking even, it's just ridiculous. 1983 is when women started being added to research in medication. So up until 1980s, we were taking medication that were biologically set for men. So there's just so many things that we have to catch up on to reach parity as women. And I want to penetrate. This is why we're building this first with women. So are we white labeling this later on for education, for all kinds of different? Can you buy the Empressa technology? Sure, but we're going to first go to market to offer this to women.
Gotcha. And also in the I tapped about the Spotify.
Yeah.
Will it what will be do you
Oh,
think, because you might not know the payout for
yes.
that, and will the because always the people at the top
Yes.
always
Yeah, I
get
know.
paid, but the
Yeah.
people who might only have an audience of 10,
Yeah.
how are you guys working to perfect that so you're not in the news like Spotify is right now?
Yeah, well, I hope we're in the news for good news. But that's the hope. Yes, so part of that, and that's what I was talking about, algorithmic justice. So we are spending a lot of time and money into an algorithm that really brings justice to women for discoverability. I mean, that's the point, right? The point is that a lot of women try and they're competing against the big guns, and they can't even scratch the surface. And so for us, the Spotify model, and I say that because that's people understand how the royalties work. But beyond that, we are making sure that every woman, for example, has a dashboard where they have control and they see whenever their AI is working for them, and basically how many times. It's a very transparent process that they'll see every single time what is happening with their content and how many times they can actually, the AI is using it. Now that is user based. So if you have a very specific niche content that is not being inquired by on the user side, obviously it's like users don't get, they're not listening to your song, so you don't get the royalty. But we do do the discoverability for women, and that's part of the integration of the algorithm. Another thing will be that is actually different than any other platform is experts get to show up monthly to speak to one-to-many. So they'll have opportunity. If we're seeing, for example, that a woman is not getting a lot of visibility, we'll bring them on board on a monthly to speak to our community live. They get to talk, they get to express, they get to show. So it's human plus AI to enable women and have that, give them the visibility they deserve.
You're like me, your graduate degree is in communications. Tell the people, because you say it's been 12 years. We're just getting started. The best is yet to come.
Yeah.
Tell the people how somebody goes from, master's in communication
Yeah.
to getting into tech, because as you know, a lot, even though, I don't care where you went to school. You have a friend who's not working in what they, studied. They didn't find the
Yes.
opportunity. They found something else, and they're probably content and just like, I'm just glad to be trying to pay Sally Mae back. And I hope you guys can pay her all the way back, because when you do, it's all the way good and you feel free. Dave Ramsey, yes. But but tell the people,
Yeah.
like, how did you get in that? Or do you know Python, C++, Java, Fission, anything,
So it's interesting you asked that question. I'm actually writing a book right now, which we'll be launching later this year. We're being published by Wiley, and it's called Code and Confidence, the Women Who Programmed Microsoft. And because Microsoft is actually will have the celebrating the 50th anniversary in April this year. So it's really exciting. So we're writing the book about it. And there's a chapter dedicated to non-tech women in tech. And a lot of my time, so 12 years at Microsoft, before that, I was in other companies in tech. So I've really been in tech for most of my career, 20 years. And for a really good part of it, I was like, oh, I'm not techie. No, I don't do Java. I am not an engineer. I'm not a coder. I'm not a dev. So I'm not techie. And the reality is I am, because I'm in the industry and I speak tech. So my communication is tech, and I know enough to be dangerous, right? And then I know enough to actually hire the best teams for me. This is a great question, because a lot of times we think we can do it all. And as entrepreneurs, we learn quickly that we're going to burn ourselves out, and that, we have to hand it off. We have to hire a really good team of people that we trust that are going to do it better than us. And that takes humility, because we think we have it all and we're going to do it ourselves. So no, I'm not an engineer, but I am in tech, and I've been in the engineering world. I've been actually storytelling for engineers. I speak engineer, and for me, it's enough to be dangerous to actually enable and stand up an AI company. And I say this because it's really important for women who are listening. AI right now is an equalizer. It's a technology that is available for all of us. You can learn it. You can train yourself. You can learn prompt engineering. That's something that I'm working on. So there's opportunity for everyone. There's no excuse for us women to not get into the field. If you have an acting degree, get in the field. Why? Because that's the future, and you're gonna see AI penetrate every single market, every single sector. And so the more you know about it, the more you can actually enable yourself. There's futuristic jobs that don't exist right now that are going to exist in the next 5 years. So prepare yourself as a woman and be able to enable yourself in this space. There's countless trainings, certifications that you can have, and it's actually really exciting. So this is an opportunity for us women to not get left behind. Studies show that right now in the era of AI, men are learning faster. They're not faster. They're learning more at a faster rate, and that's because women. I don't know. I don't know why we're not attempting to touch the technology, to learn the technology, and to make ourselves available with the technology. So I implore you, women, don't get left behind. This is our opportunity to be equal in the space in era of AI.
And could you say, because I know Microsoft, I'm certified in a Microsoft AI that was free on LinkedIn, and I
Yes.
have many of them. Do you have any on your website or in, any pamphlet where you can say, look, do this one? Because now, I mean, it's you're going through LinkedIn, but
Yes.
soon everyone's just going to kind of copy LinkedIn stuff
Yeah.
and say, hey, this is my stuff. It happens. It's going to happen.
I know.
But do you recommend anyone, or do you have one that you're like, oh, this one was awesome to get you started or to take you to the next level?
Yeah, of course I'm biased because I'm at Microsoft and Microsoft owns LinkedIn, and LinkedIn has so many great certifications there for learning AI, getting started with prompt engineering, understanding the differences between the different AI models like large language modeling, like GPT modeling. So please find it there. But I don't have one specific because I want to always understand competitors. I want to understand the ecosystem. So I recommend go through all of them. Go through the Google one, go through Apple, go through Meta, understand the differences, understand what they're teaching you, play with the technology, teach the technology. So get on Gemini, teach it and train it. One of the funnest parts is to actually train the technology to serve you. We always say at Microsoft that, the generative AI platforms are like a smart intern. They're not a search engine. They're like a smart intern that you can train, that you can, enable for your day-to-day activities and how you're going to enable. So you can start there. You can say, hey, whatever field you're in, can I get this intern to help me out with some things that I need on my minutia everyday work? And get started. Don't get scared and train it. Tell it what to do. Tell it to go make your sandwich. I mean, tell it to do something and see what it tells you back and train it. It is not a search engine. It's much more than that. So the more you learn about it, the more keen you're going to be like, hey, I really want to understand the back end. I really want to understand, the economy behind it, how the prompt engineering works, and it's really fascinating. I recommend all of the things that are available. They're out there for you, and especially for women, there's a lot of different programs out there. So just search on LinkedIn, follow groups on LinkedIn. There's an AI for women an AI for women group in LinkedIn that it's consistently sharing any new programs, any new cohorts that are happening, any new technologies or certifications for the technology. So join there and be informed, stay informed.
Now, one thing you were saying, men are learning at a faster rate. We have, and my wife is the head of it, and why we have Vanguard Radiology, because she's a radiologist, and we have an AI contracts for radiology, right?
Yeah.
But I hear so many other women saying, I'm scared. I don't want them cloning my brain. I don't want them owning me. I don't want to be like in the movie Subservient. If you guys watch Netflix, I don't want that. Where men are like, nah, I don't mind that. So could it be that, women are worried about being cloned and replaced?
Yeah, one of the things, so beyond that, is there's an innate, and I love this question. What a smart question you asked. Thank you. The sheer differences that we're seeing in any innovation, including AI, when it comes to adopting the technology, is women have an intrinsic security system that pauses them from being high risk, right? That's just embedded in us biologically. We are prey in the world, and that's just the reality. I have to worry about where I park. I have to worry about if I'm traveling alone. We are prey, and we come in the world as prey, and we're like, okay, I have to be careful. I have to. So there's an intrinsic security system that we don't trust immediately, which is it's survival. And so this is why part of Empressa also is offering what we're calling trustworthy AI. And we explain that in the website, not only in the systems, but the algorithms. We want you to feel safe trying this new thing. But a lot of women are, hey, like you said, I don't want to be cloned, or I don't want my content to be taken from me. So when you think about AI, and this is why I think it's really important for women, especially, to adapt and adopt, is understanding the why, understanding the how. When you try a new technology, all of these platforms in AI right now, all these GPT platforms or large language models, anything that you're playing with, you as a user will always have the opportunity to train it and tell it what you don't want it to do. I don't want you to use my data for anything. You have to make sure that you plug that in. Now, of course, as in any technology, we've seen leaks. We've seen all kinds of different things. I mean, my phone, AT&T just like killed me with all these things. I'm like, somebody gave my phone number. AT&T sold my data somewhere. And so I'm getting like all these spam texts. And so that happens. It happens as users. We can't control that. The company, sometimes they can't control that. There's hacks. So it's not 100%, but here's where you can, as a woman, create yourself parameters. As a woman, how I'm doing it. I choose what to share. My privacy is my it's my economy. It's really today my economy. I would also warn around social media and the next level of social media, what you're sharing on social media. So all these things live out there, and you choose what is going to be out there for the world to see. Our privacy is our best asset today. So as a woman, if that's what worries you, you get to choose and you get to train the AI. Example, instead of saying, I'm building a company named whatever, help me with storytelling, and ChatGPT is helping you, don't say I'm building a company. Say so-and-so is building a company, and the company's A, B, and C, and give it enough information to train it to help you, enable you. But don't give away all of your information, even if it's open source, especially if it's open source. So always be careful, tread lightly, but don't use that fear to completely stay away from it, because it's going to be it's already part of our everyday. So embrace it with being careful. And at Empressa, we're offering a very specific vaulted space for women to use their own content and keep it there for generations to come. I have a woman who said, hey, my dad is a writer. He has over 20 books in Colombia, and I want to put that in Empressa because I want his legacy to live through. And I'm like, absolutely, would love to, have his content shared and enabling women all over the world. So that's the way we're thinking about it. And because I'm a woman, I know what it is, and and we're building something for people like me, like you, that need trustworthy AI.
That's beautiful. Do you do CES? You like the Consumer Electronics Show? Or are you a fan?
I am a fan of, of course, I'm at Microsoft. Yeah, I do. And I'm a speaker, so I go to these events. I'm actually headed to Madrid tomorrow to speak at one of our partner events. And one of the things that I love about that, being a woman in tech, first of all, I love that for the very first time ever, the bathroom, there's no lines in the bathrooms in these conferences. And I watch the men have all the line. I'm like, haha, I walk right past them. That never happens in any other situation or environment, I tell you. It's always the women line. So that I love. The second one is staying up with trends and understanding the world in the ecosystem, understanding what other people are thinking about and how they're talking about it. You talked about men going, yes, that's intrinsic to you. You're risk takers. You have to be, which is lovely. It's part of it's part of your DNA is what you do. So to me, I find it very fascinating when I hear men talking about AI, the future of AI, how they're adopting, what they're thinking about, because then that informs me on what I need to be looking at from my perspective to enable the women, right? Because it's very different. So it informs me. And so, yes, CES, all of these places, there's a space for women to learn, and there's a space for women to share. And I'm going to be very excited to share Empressa very soon in these places.
Tell the women and the men, because when they hear storyteller, Microsoft, they're like, do I even have to go to school for that? How do you get that? Who do you have to meet? Did you talk? I mean, I lived in Seattle for, 6 years. Do you have to meet Bill Gates to get that job? And what is it just speaking? What's the research behind it? It's like a fairy tale.
It's a fairy tale. It is. So wait, let me ask you, when did you live in Seattle? Because I lived in Seattle for 3 years.
We've been in Florida for about 4, so right before then. My wife did a residency at UW, so.
Oh, cool! I love that. Okay, yeah, I was out there. Of course, Microsoft is there, so I was out there for 3 years, and then we actually left right after, like, when COVID happened, because there was no way I was going to spend a winter and lockdown in Seattle. So depressing.
We pretty much left around the same time. We were at the end of it, the end, and we were like, wait, Florida, no mask? Like, this is like. What
I'm
is
like,
going
I need my beaches and I need my margaritas and I'm going home. Okay, cool. So you do not need to meet Bill Gates. You do not need to do something super big. Storytelling and storyteller actually came at a time that Satya Nadella, our CEO, was really revamping the culture of our company. And so he came in, he rewrote our mission, and before he came, Microsoft as a general rule was very closed source, if you will. You know, it was an enigma. Who works at Microsoft? What do they do? What's happening there? How do you get in? Nobody really knew. And we were just, you know, we were doing our own thing and very much, you know, gatekeeping ourselves, which is fine. That was just the culture of our company. When Satya came in, he really endeavored to change that. He wanted to show up differently and inherently change the company. I mean, just incredibly. Today, I mean, I'm still there because of that. And it's amazing what he's done. One of the things he wanted to do was leverage stories to connect with our audiences internally and externally. And so he began to really think about storytelling and storytellers, bring this, you know, people that had a comms, a marketing background, people that had visual communications backgrounds, and all kinds of different spaces to actually start telling our stories in a way that was compelling, because at that time, our engineers were moving our data from on-premises to the cloud. And so they were becoming themselves new engineers, right? They had never been cloud engineers. The cloud didn't exist. And so he wanted to tell that story in a way that was empathetic, saying, hey, if at Microsoft we have fears and challenges in this process of digital transformation, other companies may too. And so for the first time we were talking about that. That's when I was invited to come to Seattle, and I was brought into the engineering space. I don't know if you're an engineer or an engineer is listening, but they don't like to tell stories. So I found it very challenging. My first 3 months, I was like, oh, honey, do not unpack the bags. We're probably going to be sent back to Miami very quickly because I'm failing fast here. But when we got brought in, it was a new role. It was something that just kind of developed. And so today we actually have around 4,000 storytellers worldwide in every vertical of the organization: finance and marketing, of course, a lot in marketing, in design, in sales, everywhere. Just because as a role, there's not one role that fits one size fits all. It really is the idea of content strategy with an element of emotional connection. So what I do at Microsoft today, in every role that I've had as a storyteller, it has varied based on the organization. For the role that I have now, I sit in the sales organization. I work for health and public services industries. So my audience is very niche. I have, governors, and I have CIOs and CTOs and the sales team. And so when I think about the nuances of my stories, for example, the government, here's the brand talking about our brand new shiny object, agents for Copilot. For our government agencies and our, in whatever states, they're not even thinking about Copilot agents yet. It's a long term before they actually adopt that. So I'm the one bridging this story here to get here and say, how do you prepare for this in the future, right? So it's basically an advocacy for our very niche customers that are thinking about adoption, but they're not yet there. Some agencies are still actually on premises. They haven't even completed their digital transformation because the government's a little slower mover. So then you have to think about that. So how do you become a storyteller? What is a storyteller is? In my case, it's communications, is marketing background, which I have both. But you really can become a storyteller in your own right based on your transferable skill sets to tell a story. How do you deliver that? We are all storytellers. You're telling stories right now. I'm telling stories right now. How do you deliver that in a way that is emotionally captivating, that doesn't feel like you're selling something, but you are sharing the brand journey so that the customer on this end goes, okay, that makes sense, and trust the brand in the process, because they're going to be like, why is Microsoft going through agents? I'm not even done here. It seems disjointed. So we bridge that with connection and say, hey, we're going over here. We're innovating in the future. We got you. We want to let you know how you can, when you're ready, you can come in here and enable this space.
You guys got the game on how to go apply, go on your LinkedIn. Like, I went on your LinkedIn and I'm like, okay, we have similar people. I see, Stephen Matley, who, and different people. And I'm like, and I'm like, this is how you guys get a job
Yeah.
somewhere, because that's a very special position, because how you talk to government and how you talk to big business, I mean, you might as well go to DC because they're doing it all the time. And I've done it like at a low level, right? Just
Yeah.
being a lonely intern. And you're like, whoa, there's certain words. And like you said, you speak engineer.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
With this success that you've had, and you guys, if you want to really learn how to tell a brand story, go get her book. It's highly rated on Amazon. Again, links will be in the description so you can go to all that and you can go into detail. But can you talk about a community give back that you are doing, or one that you would like to do in the future? And it doesn't have to just be in America. It can be
Oh, I love this. You're so good. So yes, I am actually part of the organization that is in Africa. So Africa has my heart. I've done 3 tours under a Microsoft program called Skills for Africa, and through the YALI organization, which is Obama's organization for young leaders in Africa. And I actually volunteer my storytelling skills to enable students and organizations to train the trainer to learn how to storytell for business growth. I'm part of the NIFTY organization, which is the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. They have a huge presence here in Miami, by the way. So I would love to connect you so you can become a part of it, because they always need people like you. And this is a pitch style connection for students in underrepresented communities, underserved communities all over the world. I mean, well, yeah, all over the world. Specifically for us, I serve the Miami chapter, the Southeast chapter, and in the US. And this is for students who would never have an opportunity to build their business otherwise. So it's a magnet program that comes in that they take throughout high school, their senior year, and they get to build through their high school, their senior year, a prototype of an idea, and then they get sponsored. So they actually pitch in a Shark Tank style, and they get scholarships to actually build monetize and build their idea and make them true. And I've seen such wonderful things come out of it. I saw a young woman, 15 years old, who actually created a portable. I'm sorry, she was 18, but when she was 15, she was pregnant and she couldn't afford to go get these sonograms. And so she actually invented a portable sonogram at home so she can monitor her baby. And actually her pitch got picked up, and it's actually being used as a prototype in one of the hospitals in Miami. So it's really just exciting to see how we can enable women and underrepresented communities, minorities, to really become entrepreneurs. So, and to take an idea from concept to a prototype and be monetized by it. So I serve that community as well. And so, yeah, I'd love to, you asked any new ones, I would love to hear where else I can participate on. I'm always really excited to give my time and my talent where I know it's fertile ground, especially for underrepresented communities.
No, that's awesome. And I will be asking more information, for the Miami thing. But you mentioned a keyword, and on this podcast, if you talk about Africa, I gotta ask you, what is your favorite country thus far?
Okay. I'll have to say there's 2. So it's a two-part answer. It's Kenya. I love Kenya. And
Uhaligani, Kenya. Uhaligani po sana, santi sana.
I love it. I have to tell you, I have a beautiful story about Kenya. I brought my son to one of the trips there, and I've been there the second time I went, and I brought my eldest son. And the reason I brought him was because I was very interested. There was a tour called the Storytelling Tour of Makati, and it was 3 young men who take you on a walking tour through. If you don't know what Makati is one of the big city slums in Kenya. In Nairobi, and they live there, and they walk you through it, and they show you how they live and how how they commute and what they do and how they how they hustle, and it's just fascinating. So I brought my son because I come from the slums of Venezuela, and because of the political unrest, I haven't been able to ever bring them. They don't know where I come from, right? And I want them to see it. So that's the closest I get to that. And that's like, hey, Alex, come with me. I want to show you how I grew up. And so it was a 4-hour walking tour, and included a camel ride and included a homemade food. It was just fascinating and wonderful. And by the end of the tour, so my son was like, this is freaking me out. You know, he had never been exposed to that, which I'm like, be exposed. That's real life, you know? And because you can talk about it all the time, but you have to live it. And so by the end of the whole thing, my son is just, he bonded so closely with these 3 young men. We hung out. He actually, while I was working, I was there for like 2 weeks. He ended up hanging out with them the entire time, which I thought was so beautiful. And that's the thing. That's amazing. So I love Kenya and I love Morocco. I've been there for social enterprises, women enterprises. These are women who weave baskets and they do stuff that actually the money they make is not for themselves, it's for the community, to build schools. I mean, I just think how incredible these women are. And I just love the spirit there of women. And it's just beautiful. It's a wonderful country.
No, I love it. I love it. I don't know if you've also, the biggest slum in Kenya is Kibera, which is in Nairobi.
Yes.
And, we've taken clients, we've taken their businesses even over there. But to go from like the Westlands to the slums, and people get to, get wash off your shoes if you really went through
Yes, you walk right through that. You lose your shoes. I mean, you lose the shoes.
Yeah, but even the slums, and I'm still trying to find some proper area in Kibera because they've built roads in the freeway in Kenya now is like the toll. It's like, yes, we can go through here smooth.
I know. Yeah. It's fascinating because I've been through that. I mean, I came from the slums in Venezuela, so I know what I know what it is to live on the outskirts of Caracas, and there was no roads, and now there were roads. But then you have to think about electricity, and it's just so many infrastructure challenges. But it's beautiful to see the community, to learn, and to remind myself how important it is to think about our disparity throughout the world and how privileged we are here, and how we can, the responsibility we have with that privilege, right? To enable ourselves more, to make ourselves available. And so my talent and my time is something that I do always want to give back to. So especially in Africa. I also love Swaziland, by the way. Swaziland was a really interesting, small little country. And I was there, and it was the first time I went. It was a multi-city tour, multi-country tour. And for Swaziland, I actually felt that I was home. I know it's weird, but when I landed, I was like, this feels oddly familiar. And I don't know why. And I loved it. And I did go to the markets, the most beautiful sunsets. I mean, I think all the countries in Africa have such a special, each of them a special charm. And I feel home. I don't know. We all come from Africa, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. And again, I tell you guys, I could go all day, all night with conversations like this, but I think where I want to even end it to respect the time is, can you tell the audience and leave them, and this is personal to me because my mother dealt with breast cancer, and, the doctors say whatever they want, but whatever the doctor says, she's like, I'm going to do this my way. And she did it longer than they ever thought she'd do it. Can you talk about how you did it with family? I mean, you look great. My mother looked great. Nobody would have knew that she had, even when she was in the hospital to her last days, they're like, something's bothering her, she's battling something. And it went from her breast to her head. And she still was like, I'm going to go out, on these beautiful terms, the way I came in. Can you talk about that? Because nobody would know that. You say, how do you keep your mind, your family together, your business, you're doing all these things? Because many people would say, woe is me, and it would be over.
Yeah. Oh my God. What a great question. I often speak about something I learned so fascinating through this process, and it's my self-advocacy. What that means is I learned quickly once I got the phone call, which is like, and they immediately, my doctor sends, basically the phone call was, this is happening and I'm no longer your doctor. I'm going to turn you over to a team of oncologists. And I'm like, holy crap, what's going on? And so when I thought about that, I was like, wait, you're turning me over to a team. I didn't choose that team. I want to choose my own team. I mean, I'm the one going through this. You're partnering with me. I'm the owner of my body. I know my body. I know myself. So you may be over here trying to help me, but it may not be what I want. What I did was I took my chart and I sent it not to two or three doctors. I sent it across the country. And I said, here's what I'm dealing with. What do you recommend? Then I went intuitively before I got these recommendations. This was all through COVID, by the way. So imagine the scenario where doctors are burnt out, all this stuff is happening. I built my team of doctors, and that meant so much to me because I was interviewing doctors, interviewing them. I had 14 questions that I listed. And the last one was always, if this was your mother, your sister, your wife, would you make the same recommendation? Okay. So I was like, you will be fired. You won't put hands on me as a doctor if you can't answer my questions, if you're not even willing to answer them, because I am bringing you into my world. You are my partner in crime in this whole thing. So that mentality was something I was not innately used to. I'm a woman. I'm Latina. You see a white man in a white coat and you just go, yes, doctor. You know what I mean? I was like, no. This is my process. And I knew what I wanted. And that was life-changing for me because there were so many procedures that I had to do one after the other. Some doctors were recommending a very, very aggressive process. And I was like, no, I want this process. So I knew what I wanted. And for that, you need to know yourself enough and you need to trust your process enough. These doctors can offer ideas, they can offer processes, but you know best what's for you. So I think that was the enabler for me to think of, okay, if this doesn't work out, it's because it was my thing, right? I can't blame anybody else, but it will work out because it's mine and I know what my body needs. And it was a lot of reflection, a lot of self-introspective. I mean, I came out of this. I think your mom will say the same thing. Anybody who's gone through something like this, not just with cancer, any life-changing opportunity, it's a rebirth. It's a rebirth because it brought the old you and how you saw life and how you saw something like this. And now, you die to that self and you come into a new perspective of life. And the biggest one was self-advocacy. And I think that's why Empressa is the baby of this process, because it is a self-advocacy platform. So it comes together that way.
I love it. I love it. And I tell people all the time, I said, how did you continue working and going, after your mother passed? I said, you know what my mother told me? She's like, you know me, you talk to me every week of your life. But she said, if you mourn me, I'll come haunt you. And she never lied to me. So I said, okay. She's like, go live your life, go make everything happen.
Yes.
That's what we want the audience to do. We want you to go out and live your life, make this thing happen. You're hearing a story that you can say, okay, I got a blueprint. Let me go follow some of this. Even if you don't have all the degrees, remember, this did not happen overnight. One thing begat another. So you guys have gotten the game. Make sure that you look in the descriptions so you can follow, get Empressa, understand what's going on, see all the different links, go get the book. You can comment, you can like, wherever you're experiencing this. I know majority of your listeners go over to the YouTube. At least Myra, she's worth going to check out and see expressions.
Absolutely.
You might not want to see me. That's okay. But I got a face for radio, but we're good.
You do got a face for radio.
Yeah, but share this game with somebody. It will change their life. You guys, be blessed.
Are you tired of the rat race in America? Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stress the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand, or 10,000 Kenyan shillings, or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from Kellen Cash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.